Hello and welcome to a special edition of It's the Economy, coming to you straight from NITI Aayog. The member, Dr. Ramesh Chand, who heads agriculture for NITI Aayog. He's our guest today. Dr. Ramesh Chand, thank you very much for joining me.
Welcome.
Well, the prime reason for my requesting the interview is the way in which the CPI numbers have come out for September. It's jumped to, of course, 5.5%, and the prime reason is the rise in food inflation. Year-on-year rise is 9.2%, and even month-on-month, cereals, pulses, and of course vegetables have risen a lot. Would you worry that this food inflation can persist?
You see, last month it was less than 6%.
Yes.
And
5.6 actually.
Yeah, 5.6%. And all projections were that it will be less than 6%. But we have one component on which there is no control. And that component is of fresh vegetables. First of all, you can't have buffer stock kind of thing for these vegetables. Secondly, we don't have a trade option for that. And thirdly, the taste and preferences of Indian consumers are so strong for fresh fruit and vegetable that they are not willing to use processed product as a substitute for, say,
which is done world over.
Tomato puree kind of things.
Yeah.
So these are the reason, and they are highly vulnerable to weather-related things. I suggested to RBI, because they consult me every 2 months before MPC meeting, that right now vegetable index is entirely based on this top tomato, onion, and potatoes. I told them that you should enlarge this number to include other vegetable. Maybe season-wise we need to do that. But it happened in case of vegetable. In fact, if you look at data for last year, July, August, the tomato price had crossed 100 rupees last year also.
Yes.
But this year it happened in the late September and early October. It is going out of control.
That's true.
And it is not that on the ground you don't see response. If you look at area under these vegetables, it is rising. So farmers are responding to high prices of vegetables, and they are also, even though they know there is volatility, but today's farmer, most of them are not risk averse, they are risk lover. They want to take that chance, so it is happening. I think whatever need to be done from government side, like there is a committee of ministers, they take cognizance of this every 2 months. RBI take cognizance of that, and committee of secretary meets every fortnight to take stock of things. So some effort is made, like if you go to say Shuffle shops, Shuffle outlets, you will find that the price there will be 30-40% lower than but it is in the open market. So I would say that the only solution in this kind of thing is active intervention, so that that one component, that whenever there is a genuine shortage, it is exploited by middlemen. It's not that they then don't exploit it.
Of course.
So then they try to exploit the situation. So that component can be checked. And regarding your question that is it going to persist for a long time, I don't think it is going to persist.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Even the Reserve Bank in the monetary policy said we have to see through this hump. So their expectation is it's only maybe a month or two. But the worry is, yes, the vegetable prices have risen 3.5% month on month and 35% year on year. But cereals and pulses also have risen about 0.7 month on month or 1% month on month. Now, one thought that because the rains were bountiful, in fact, they were higher than the long period average, the cereals and pulses would have come under control. They have accentuated. You think
that in case of cereals, much of what you will watch happening in the market is the translation of what we do to MSP. If we are increasing MSP by 6%, 5%, and some little factor adding from market, make it to 8% and 9%. So, and you know that MSP announcement is made in advance.
Yes.
You do not know whether production will turn out to be better or not. So, in a way, you get into a spiral that you do not project this kind of very favorable effect of monsoon. I have never seen in the history of CACP that you have even reduced price by very small amount from a high level previous years.
Okay.
So if because of shortage, price MSP is given raise in 1 year, that become a base for further rise in next years. And now we have a new formula, A2+Fl into 50%. I'm not criticizing it, but that formula has led to detachment between what would be open market price and what is MSP in most cases, not in all cases. So you just find that earlier this authority of commission to take cognizance of what is happening in the country, to demand and supply, what is happening in global market, taking into consideration those kind of things, and based on which they used to give higher or lower margin, that is not now in the hand of CACP. Yeah. It has now become more or less mechanical kind of exercise. And as I mentioned, this is a very serious point I am making, that if your A2+Fl multiplied by 1.5 is not close to what will be open market price, then you will find that announcement of MSP will keep creating inflationary situation.
Okay. So the one more question before I come to the overall expectation. Oil seeds, because of the rise in import duties maybe, we have seen, I think, a 2.5% rise month on month. Year on year it is not much. Because last year prices were still elevated, but the month-on-month rise is a little troubling, 2.5%. You think that is just because of the duty and it will plateau?
Again, even at international prices, international level, edible oil prices after falling for long period of I think 7-8 months. They have increased to some extent, which I feel is a correction. But since that correction was to happen, and in case of soybean was coming into market, and the farmers were getting price lower than MSP, again I would say that now this MSP has become a norm. I have written on it that I am not against MSP becoming something which is justified, which farmer must get, provided this MSP is based on the judgment of a authority, that this farmer must get this thing. Now it is based on a formula that 50% return must be.
In that case,
this is my personal view. I am in the government, you know, it is difficult, but I can now confess to you that even when this was adopted, I submitted a note that this is likely to create this kind of situation. So now we need to, now thing is that we have done it. We can't reverse that that process, and I am sensitive to that farmer should get better price. Our 80-90% farmer are small and marginal. There are so many kind of things. In this kind of situation, ultimately we have to move towards a situation where we protect income of the farmer, but do not distort market price.
Don't link it
is
to
doable. It is doable. China is doing it. USA is doing it. Europe is doing it. They are doing it. They are going for like China, they need procurement. They go for need-based procurement. We have to run PDS, and we need some for buffer stock. So we, total rice and wheat, we procure 50 million ton.
Yes.
But we need to, now it is open-ended because of MSP.
MSP.
We should move ultimately toward the system of Bhavantar Bhugtan or deficiency price payment to avoid distortion in market price. The reason and the consequence of this distortion are going to become heavier and heavier in future. Now we are facing inflation only. The second consequence will be when your home prices are so high, your export will be affected. And India is moving toward a situation where surplus are expected to rise.
Right.
So that will become the second victim of this kind of thing. So I think there is now a need to balance between interest of producer and consumer. We need to raise income of the farmers. I support that. But we have to come out with new instrument for doing it.
We have to disconnect
we
farmer
should see
income from it.
that market distortion should be avoided. That turn out to be costly for other sectors of economy.
Okay. Just a final question, sir. Do you think this will ebb the food? I mean, it's a more near-term question, not the larger policy that you are raising. Do you think that by, say, December or next quarter, food inflation will come down?
Yeah, I feel that what we have witnessed this month is an abnormality. It will definitely, this is my assessment, that it will definitely come down.
Okay. Well, then perhaps the pain of the high inflation is short-lived, at least in terms of the headline inflation.
But it should also lead to realization that government, even they just look at my note at that time.
Yes.
They wanted to support farmers.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, we will just accept this.
Yes.
For sake of farmer, we want to promote this sector.
Yes.
So that thing has happened. After we adopted this kind of thing, you see the increase in income of farmer. My paper has come, agrarian distress. You are not having that kind of situation.
Yes.
But now we need to work on the instrument through which we ensure rise in income of the farmers.
This is a very convincing point. It's a topic for another larger discussion. There should be a national debate on this.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us on It's the Economy.
Thank you. I enjoyed your questions.